Good evening. I hope the judges are still fresh. It's been a long time. My name is Ivandro Schwalbach, and I'm honored to be here today to present to you the St. Cyprian'S project located in Cape Town, South Africa, done by Noero architects. St. Cyprian'S is a well-established Anglican school located on a very special site on the slopes of Cape Town, in the City Bowl. The building was bought in 1914 and transformed into one of the most respected girls' schools in the country. And this original building that you see in this photo was designed by Herbert Baker in 1919. And since then, the school has kind of added and developed all sorts of buildings through time. What is interesting about this school is that over the past 100 years or so, the school has developed in a way with no order, not following any kind of modernist, rational, utilitarian planning. And as you can see by the image on the right there, from the late 1950s, you can begin to see how the buildings are all scattered around the site. We obviously thought that this was very interesting because the existing buildings created a rich mosaic of styles and histories, and they were organized along the landscape in a non-hierarchical way, which is very similar to a city. And that was good because we thought that was very positive because it meant that the younger girls and the older girls could crisscross their path, throughout the day as they moved from one classroom to the other or into the sports fields and all of that. So we thought that was definitely something positive, this interweaving of pathway amongst schoolgirls, and therefore we said to ourselves that it was something that is worthwhile maintaining when designing its future buildings. So in the early 2000s, the school started a campaign to establish the new language of buildings that, while still respecting the old buildings and the traditional and the heritage of these buildings, it would kind of also mark a clear break from the past. And this resulted in the design of a number of buildings and spaces that we got involved. And this was the activity center. It was the first building that we designed in the school to initiate that campaign. The building was placed on top of the site, overlooking the hockey fields with Table Mountain behind it, framing it. This next image is a plan of the school grounds showing our four main interventions to the existing fabric. These buildings comprise of the Multino house at the top, the knowledge hub or library, and the IT pod at the bottom on the existing Herbert Baker building. And on the west of the site, the Life Center. These are the buildings that I'll be talking about in this presentation to describe the three key ideas that form the basis of our design strategy throughout the project. Sorry if I can go back. So the first idea represented here by this plan is what we call progressive conservation, which refers to architecture as a living tradition wherein old buildings are given new life by being adjusted to contemporary uses over time and spaces inserted or added to the existing fabric. And on a smaller scale, this idea is best represented here by the knowledge hub or library over there, located on the old gym of the Baker building. This is what the space originally looked like. We decided to add a mezzanine level to it and to keep the timber structure untouched. So in order to do that, we developed a series of prefabricated steel construction elements and timber elements that were carefully placed on the space and was hung from the original timber structure with the idea that one could dismantle in the future and return the gym to its original space. An existing courtyard adjacent to the gym, over there, was enclosed with a translucent roof and became part of the movement route for the school, represented there by the kind of light brown, pinkish color. In addition, and in order to activate this movement route, 3 large circular timber structures have been placed within the space for all sorts of uses to be defined by the girls. And you can kind of have a sense of the scale of these structures by this image. The second idea that informed our design strategy is what we call our cake space. These spaces are marked by a strong sense of Platonic geometry, because the school required us from time to time to design spaces whose future use were indeterminate. We chose to do these spaces with a strong sense of kind of a precise geometry, following Rossi's idea that buildings that take and can adjust over time are the ones that are characterized by a very strong geometric precision. So the Life Center is a 2-story building that was placed between 2 existing buildings, as you can see in this image, and was designed to be versatile, to take on very different kinds of uses, as I mentioned before. So this space was used for debating competition, examinations, drama classes, physical educations, etc. It's all come from this kind of loose curriculum from the national government called life orientation. The plan form comprises a 6-meter radius and comprises of a circle within which an hexagon is placed, and then a square, and then in the center, the space is kind of resolved again with a circle and a square. The rotated square over there indicates the pyramid roof, which in section was proportioned as a square with regards to width and height. The facade of the building consists of an inner layer of sliding glass screens, and the outer layer is made with these specially made breeze blocks in order to achieve a thermally efficient set of conditions, because the building doesn't use any kind of mechanical ventilation whatsoever. It's all naturally ventilated. The roof became a landmark in the school, which is a kind of talks back to the mountain and to the landscape. The IT hub is a building which was built in the open courtyard close to the knowledge hub. It's another building that employs strong geometric precision as well. It's also a 2-story building, which was faced with a glass mosaics to reflect the sky and the surrounding buildings. And this, in a sense, almost makes the building disappear, because when one looks at it, it just sees the reflection of the buildings and the sky. The circular form was chosen to both minimize the impact of the new building in the courtyard, as well as to enable the teacher to view all computer monitors from her desk. We designed the furniture on the inside as well to fit this kind of tight space. And the idea was to give the learners, the girls or the students, a kind of a different teaching space, an exciting space, which is very different to the conventional classrooms that they're used to. The third idea is what we call third space, and it's best represented by the circular hubs in the Knowledge Center. Third space is very similar to our archaic space because they both seek to give space over to multiple users. The difference is third space is marked by being part of a kind of a larger space or a network of spaces. And what was interesting about these large-scale timber construction, or we call it circular hubs, was that they were designed with no specific purpose in mind. The spaces were offered up to the students to be used as they see fit. So what was interesting to see was a kind of how they use these circular hubs. And so what came out of it is that they started using it for small gathering spaces, storytelling, as you can see over there, impromptu theater, quiet reading, group reading, and even for exhibitions every now and again of their artwork. So what was clear to us was also this idea that, sometimes architects can't design everything. Sometimes you just want to design the bare minimum and then let the students or the girls in this case just take over and make it theirs. Another building which in a way encompasses all three ideas discussed here before is the Molteno House. The original building is a simple two-story rectangular building with classrooms, with 3 classrooms. And it was built in 1975. And what we did on the west side of the building, on that side, was to increase the classrooms to accommodate the growing demand of the school. And then on the east side, we developed a set of teaching spaces that took an interesting form by weaving between existing trees, marked by those black dots over there. And in doing so, the building gave value to nature, and it was a great lesson for the kids in the school, and one that the school used and developed because it was about saying that nature or the natural landscape is sometimes more important than architecture, if not all the time, actually. So to finish off, and later on we added a loggia, which again has been used for all kinds of uses by the school. And then to finish off, I'd just like to leave you with this drawing. It's the kind of drawing that our office does a lot to best illustrate these main insertions and the complexity of the project done in and around existing fabric, as well as all the 3 kind of key ideas that was described in this presentation. Thank you.
Just a short question, since we are, but congratulations, it's very interesting. I know this project since kind of time, but how long did it take, the whole process? Because, you have the existing building and then you worked by step with the insertion. And I'm very interested in the way you use geometry as a precise but also free form to play within such an existing neoclassical grid.
Yes. Well, the process, it was quite a long process. The first building was built around 2004 through a series of process of what to do first and all of that. As you can see, the first building, the activity center, was the big building that would kind of initiate the campaign. So we got involved with the schools also to initiate the campaign, to get the parents involved and all of that. And the last building, which was the loggia, was done in 2016. So about 12 years it's been of kind of additions. And there's many more also that we did, such as classrooms, the creative center. So small insertions here and there all the time as the kind of as the school got the budget. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.